So I'm looking at page 130 and some of the examples of our friends' work. Okay, so I have Ayla here. So she did the unitary method. Okay, and then you have Kalen. He did the equivalent fractions method. Okay, and then you have Rachel, is this? You didn't write your name. He did it with the equations. This is Faha. He did it with the unitary method as well. And so did Nigel. Okay, so that is how they did the fraction of a set problems. Now take a look at the word problem here. This one, Mrs. Au went through it with you. I'll hold on to this first. And yeah, well, Mrs. Au is a very, I think she didn't have much time to spend with all of you too. So 1/4 of the total of the balloons. So I believe she would have talked to you, spoken to all of you on the solving of this question. Just add on a couple of things. So I just add on a couple of things here to make this a more complete answer. So I checked and answer and put in some units. Now, so when it comes to fraction of a set word problems, you have to be careful with understanding what the question is asking for. Whether it's asking for fraction as an answer or an amount as an answer. So last week, when I was explaining to you fraction of a set, essentially I was trying to explain to you is this fraction now, as in fraction of a set, is showing you the relationship of one type of objects in a whole set of objects. So when you get the relationship right, you'll be able to understand it well. Now, let me take a look at page 132. Has anyone tried out page 132? Anybody tried out 132? Okay, let me take a look. $132. Come show it to me. I'll walk around and take a look. Can you show me 132? Sit down, I will come and see. Can I see 132 question 4? Yes, that's right. Okay, question 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Okay. Very nice. Okay. But don't hurry to do it now, it's fine, okay? Any other ways of doing it? Okay. Does yours does it? I don't see annotations. Your and your race. I can see that you added on this later. Where's the worksheet? Can you take out the book? Yes. You need to do some annotations. If you are recording later, you must be able to. Hold on, it's okay. When you're recording later, you must be able to explain your friends the complete of race. Okay? It must be good enough so that people look at it and they can understand. It cannot be just a set of equations that the person has to understand by themselves. Okay, so you need to be able to explain that. Okay. So as for the next page, okay? Okay. Zahir, pause, please. Okay, can I take a look at this? Now, Rashan, can you show me your page? 132? 132? What's your symbol? What is all these jumbled up numbers? Is it multiplication, division, or plus or minus? What is this? Where is the symbol here? This booking is worth 0 marks. I don't understand a thing that's written here. How is this cancellation? Is this multiplication? Where's the symbol? Write it in. Now. Okay, now as I'm walking around, I am trying to identify who is ready to do a recording, and your recording falls you'll take the next half an hour. Let me just mute the noise. Okay, let's take a look at some examples here. This is Jasmine's answer. So do you do this by yourself? Or you had some help? Do you do this by yourself or you had some help? You had some help. Okay, who helped you? Mrs. Al went through this question. No? Yes? No? Never mind. So let's take a look at how Jasmine did it. I think it looks really awesome because that's you can see the annotations coming. The E units as in cookies. So 59 of them meaning the cookies. Of them means of the 45 cookies. 59 of the 45 cookies were given to her friends. So she wrote here, 9 units is the total, the 45 cookies. 1 unit is 5. So 5 units is 25 cookies. Quite clear. I like how she presented her answer. So Fishy has something similar. I can see that probably Jasmine helped you with this. Is it? Or you did it yourself too? Okay, that's cool. All right, let's take a look at the slightly different one. This one is Aideen's one. So Aideen did it with the equivalent fraction method in this way. So 5/9, and he changed this 5/9 fraction to the equivalent fraction of 25th 45. So because 45 is the total, so it's got 25 as the amount given to the friends. So this is acceptable as well. So it looks like he seems to be able to explain this well. Okay, who else do I have here? Kaylen. Kaylen's got no units here. And this one also no units. But he did this one. Let's take a look at this one. He says, Amia has 36 stickers. She gave 2/3 of her stickers to Lily. Pay attention, I would actually circle this whole phrase. Of her stickers means is 2/3 of the 36 stickers. How many stickers did Amia give to Lily? She gave away 2/3. So total is 36 stickers. You forgot the units. Gave away 2/3 of the stickers. 1 unit is 36 divided by 3, 12 stickers. 2 units is 12 plus 12, 24 stickers. Amia gave 24 stickers to Lily. That's correct. Very nice. Okay, so you have a few more that's not completed. Okay, but I think you're more or less ready to do some recording. Okay, all right. So what else has this done? So Aidin's done, and the rest not so much. Okay, seems like this question is not too difficult. Shall we try another one? Let me go with 133 and 134. And then you let me know later who's ready to do the recording, and I'll send you to the rooms, okay? Come have your papers back. You have the word problems here? I'm talking about the word problems. Okay, hang on. I'm at 133 now. Okay, I'll do 133, one question, 134, one question, and then after you decide whether you are part of the recording group, whether you are part of the me group that's going to continue with me going through this, or you have done everything, you're not confident of recording, you would like me to do other things like go through your corrections with the other worksheets with you. Okay, those are the different options you can do with the time later. Right, so on page 133, we are going to start off with level 2 questions. Now, like I said, in your workbook, all the questions are very well sequenced. It's a workbook, a learning workbook. So when I see level 2, what would I immediately think of? The questions will become slightly more difficult. So previously, you probably see 1-step problems. Maybe here you have 2-step word problems. Now, previously over here, the question asked for on page 132 gave. The question asked for how many given. So the fraction that is given is the same amount that's being asked. And the same case for question 132 on question 4. Similarly, the fraction is the same as being asked. So basically, you are still asked the same fraction, 2/3 of 36 stickers. So whichever method you have used to answer this question, they are all acceptable. It's quite direct, straightforward. The question on page 133 starts to be a little bit more complicated now because they ask you for an information that is not given. In this case, starting with question number 1, during an art and craft lesson, Paul colored 3/5 of 15 circles. How many circles were not colored? Well, not exactly difficult, right? Now, some of you are very quick. One look, you can tell me the answer. Okay, so this is a good start. Now, the pictures are already also drawn for you to help you. Art and craft lesson also important. Is this sentence next is more important. 3/5 of 15 circles are colored. Question asked for not colored. So when I do my annotation, I say at the side, I probably say, okay, this is not so important about art and craft, not so important, but the circles are important. So the whole will be 15 circles. 3/5 of the whole colored. So not colored is what you are asked. Now, 2 ways to do this. Many ways to do this, in fact. If I stick to the unitary method, I have to go down to the point of finding what 1 unit is, right? Now, in this case, 15 circles, drawing is not a problem. Oh, well, I could quickly, find the 5 groups here. Color the 3 groups. So it's 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So it's like 3 units colored. The whole is 15. So if I use the unitary method, I'll get the whole is 5 units, 15 circles. 1 unit will be 15 divided by 5, that's 3 circles. And I need to find 2 units because 5 units minus 3 units. Or I can identify from 1 whole, that's 5/5, 1 whole equals to 5/5, minus 3/5 will give me 2/5. So I need to know that the 2, what does this represent? It represents 2/5, or it can represent what you call 2 units. So 2 units equals to 3 times 2, that's 6 circles. Is this okay? I did a little bit more explanation here. Why? Because I have a few methods in my head. And some of you will like this method, some of you like another method. It's up to you to choose which method suits you better. I could also do, say, 3/5 times 15, and like Trajan says, he learned the cancellation method. But his presentation was poorly done. He did not write any symbols in his equation. So he'll get 0 for the whole thing. Because he knows the cancellation method, but he just wrote, he didn't even bother writing a fraction line just now when I walk over to his table to see. So that's going to be a problem because the working is not considered complete. He wrote just a string of things and then there's 3 and there's 9 and then he wrote this as the working. That's not going to be acceptable, okay? It doesn't show any form of maths understanding, technical representation. So it's gonna be a 0. So if I do this, that works as well. If I write this, so don't copy everything. Just choose what you feel you like best. Or you can do 1 whole minus 3/5, that's 2/5, not colored. And you do 2/5 times 15. If you use the cancellation method, it works as well. So like 1, 2, 3, 3 methods already. Pick the one that you like most. If I do the drawing, the drawing shows the answer already. And I can just write there 6 circles, not colored. That's going to be full marks too. Yes, because you choose to do the drawing, and your drawing shows understanding, and you show 6 circles that's not colored. So this itself is a working that's full marks already. Okay, so this one way, this is one way. These are 2 other ways. In my one working here, I already show you at least 1, 2, 3, 4 different methods. Just choose one that you like most. My favorite has to be the unitary method. Okay, and this is the one that I will strongly push you to do, because it sets you the foundation for many other things next when you are in primary 5. If you are satisfied with the cancellation method, it works well for you for the time being. Definitely. Primary 4, that will do. But when you reach out to the upper level, then you need to solve more complex stuff. Okay, so pick the one that you like. If that's okay for you, you move on. I will just jump next to the next 135. Okay, again, this is on recording, so if you are not unable to keep up, then catch on later. Just a quick show of hands. Who can understand all the things that I'm writing here? Okay, very good. Okay, who likes the unitary best as well? Okay. Who's fond of the drawing? I'm fond of the drawing too, because it's quite clear. But like how our friend said previously, if this is 100 over, then it'll be a challenge. You can't draw so many. Okay, who's fond of this equations method? The cancellation? Okay, then you must be very good at it. I have to say again, if you're not writing the equations properly, it's not going to give you marks. Okay, especially in a word problem region. Okay, so on page 134, I'll go through this question. Okay. Okay, hang on. I'll go through question 3 instead, because this question has a trick in it and has a very scary. Somebody. You found something? You understand what I'm talking about? What's the trick? Okay, let's read it first. Okay, there's a very tricky part here that if you didn't read it carefully, or didn't understand it carefully, you might make a big mistake. Okay, the length of a cable was 48 meters at first. A worker cut away 1/4 of the cable. What was the length of the cable length? Now this one's the tricky one because of one thing. Anybody can guess? There's this one trick. Yes, Sahir. What's one thing that can confuse you here? The length. What exactly about the length? Of? Very good. Ayla mentioned the most important thing. And that's what exactly Zahir is an idea I'm pointing out. Units. The units here will be confusing. The unit here talks about length. And the units we're referring to is meters. But that's the trick here. Take a look. Which one has meters attached to it? We have 48 meters. Does 1/4 count with meter? No. 1/4 came with of the cable. So very important, huh? 1/4 of cable versus 1/4 meter. What's the difference? Which one is correct here? 1/4 of the cable is correct here. This one is not correct here. Why? What's the meaning of 1/4 meter? And what's the meaning of 1/4 of the cable? Yes, Zahir? Is 20? 20? What's the one hole in 1/4 meter? Okay. If I say 1/4 of cable, the hole is 48 meters. That's very good. So my whole bar of the cable is 48 meter. Okay. If I say 1/4 meter of cable, the hole is what's the length of the hole? If I say 1/4 meter of cable, Zahir, what's the whole cable, the length? 1/4 meter of cable. Just now you said 1/4 meter of cable is something centimeter. Why didn't you say meter? The whole cable, how long will it be? Is it 48 meter? Stephen, answer me. 1/4 of the cable asked here, the cable is 48 meter. The question asks for 1/4 of the cable, the hole is 48 meter. However, if you compare it to a question that is like the front here, like the stick question here, the units came with the fraction. The meter came with the fraction. If I look at here, if there is a meter attached to this fraction, what is the hole? And that is how many meter? Four out of 4 is what? Think for yourself, you are answering correctly. 4 out of 4. What does that make? One quarter of a meter. What is a meter? It's just 1 meter. And Stephen says 4 out of 4. That is the hole. That's 1 meter. But the one hole here, is it 1 meter? It's 48 meter. That's why just now Zahir will say, if I chop 1 meter into 4 pieces, Actually, because 1 meter is 100 centimeter, one piece is 25 centimeter. Just now, Zahir got it right already, but he was not able to explain it that well. But that is what he meant. When you see 1/4 meter, a unit was attached to the fraction, like here in the previous question for fractions. It is not fraction of a set. 1/4 of a meter here actually meant the whole was 1 meter. And that's why he said it was 25 centimeter. If 1/4 meter is asked here, I will do 38 minus 1/4. 48 meter minus 1/4 meter. Just like how I did for the stick question here. Can you understand? But in this case, look, the 1/4 is not with the meter. This is not what we are talking about here. We are looking at 1/4 of the cable, and the cable is the whole. The whole was 48 meters. That's the whole. And when I chop up into quarters, this is going to be different. Meaning, if I had the whole was 48 meters, the cable. I cut it up into 4 units. 1/4 of the cable means 1 unit. That will be 48 divided by 4, and that is 12 meters. Now, this 1/4 was cut away. I want to find left. So left was 3 units. So it's 12 times 3. That is 36 meters. Meaning the left was 3/4 of 48 meters. Can you see 12 meters here for 1/4 of 48 meter is not the same as 1/4 meter? Some of you are just busy copying everything. That's not very healthy. You need to be able to listen first to hear what am I trying to explain to you. Remember, I have this recorded. If you really need to copy it, you can copy it later. But you need to listen and understand first. If you don't understand, you have to ask me right now and I can help you with it. Because if you need me to explain it to you again, it's best to do it right now. If you need to copy, you can always copy it later when I'm not physically here for you. Can you understand that? Afi, I'm going to say that again. Half of 12 kilogram is 6 kilogram. Very good. What is half kilogram? Alicia? 500 grams. Very good. Can you see the difference now, everybody? Now the difference is where the fraction is and where the unit is. So one quarter of 48 meters is different from 1/4 meters. 1/4 of 48 meters was 12 meters, and 1/4 meter was 25 centimeter, because 1 meter equals to 100 centimeter. So just now I asked a few questions, right? I asked Rakshan, what is half of $28? That's $14, he said. And I also asked him, what's half of $1? That's 50 cents, he said. Then I asked Adriel, what is half of 2 liters? She said, that's 1 liter. And I asked, what's half a liter? Alicia said, is 500 ml. And then I asked again, Afiq, half of 12 kilograms, he said it was 6 kilograms. Then I asked, what's half kilogram? That's 500 grams. Because half kilogram, actually 1 kilogram is 1000 grams. So half kilogram is 500 grams. Can you understand? So the difference in this is that pay attention to the units. Where is it written? Now this is important when you are going to primary 5 and 6. Okay? And the starting of understanding it comes from primary 4. Okay? Now, how do I understand it better is, imagine I have a hole here, and this hole, the whole thing was 2 liters, and I half of it. And then this one, it was a full liter, and then half of it. Can you see? Slightly different. Now, let's see where the unit was placed. Off. So I got half times 2 liters, half times 12 kilograms. That's the purpose of saying off. That's why I asked Frederick, is it multiplication you're talking about? If that is, you must have the multiplication symbol. If you don't write in the multiplication symbol, you just write like this. This is not recognized as a math equation. So Frederick, this is 0. Right. A bit dry here, but can you understand better now? So whatever I'm writing here, can you understand better now? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to think. I'm ready, I understood, I think I'm okay. Miss Lim, I want to record. I see all the units come in. Now, why am I emphasizing this so much? Is because, look, This really helps you to pace out the questions. In an exam time, the questions are all going to be jumbled up. If you cannot recognize the questions properly, you will mix up these equations with the questions like of such, where the units is with the fraction, not with the fraction. With the fraction, not with the fraction, and that's the difference here. In exam time, both questions will be asked. You are expected to be able to answer both. But there is no clue that's going to tell you, oh, this set of question is fraction of the set. This set of questions asking you just doing fraction as part of whole. You need to be able to tell them apart by yourself. Okay? And take the clues from the question itself. Are you confident of it? Okay, now I want you to tell me, Miss Lim, I'm ready to go recording. Okay, then I'll send you, you go. Miss Lim, you will go through this with me. You stay here and go continue with me. Okay? All right. So, are we taking let me just pause here. Okay. This is 133, the question on 4B class. 3/8 of 32 pupils, 3/8 of 32 pupils in class 4B are girls. 38 pupils is all of class 4B. How many boys are there? Okay, so read already. 3/8 of 32 pupils in class 4B. What does it tell us about 4B children? The whole class will be 32 pupils. Very good, Ayla. What do you know about the girls? Yep, 3/8 of the pupils. Now the question will be boys. That's the question. So, if I base on the drawing here, 1 unit, 2 unit, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 2 pupils is the whole, 3/8 the girls. So 5 units boys. So 8 units, 32 pupils. 1 unit is 32 divided by 8, that's 4. I'm supposed to find 5 units. 4 times 5, that's 20 boys. Now, so I just want to share with you a very important question here. So the picture here, now the grouping is important. So you refer to this 3/8. Previously, I explained it before in terms of the grouping. A fraction of a set has the total number of units as the denominator, like the grouping, and the number of units I want at the top. Now, can I have someone to explain to me why the drawing here is different and how is this correct or wrong? So I group them in this manner, and Alicia grouped them in this manner. Is this correct? No. Why is it not correct? Very good. So this is grouping is in quarters instead. You are looking at 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarter, 4 quarters. You are not looking at eighths. Okay. So everybody, the grouping is important. Okay, take note of that. Thank you. Okay. I'll pause briefly at 136. I think this is important. This is the part where sometimes when you read a problem, the challenge may be the language more than the problem itself. So what I can suggest is try drawing it to help. Okay, this is 136 question 8. Question 36, question 8. Now, in this question, it says that a water tank holds 81 liters of water when it's full. So if I draw the water tank, if full, it can hold up to a complete amount of 81 liter. Currently filled with water is 5/9 of the tank. Meaning, if I draw the tank and see in 9 units, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, 9. 9 parts. Because 5/9 of the tank the denominator tells me the whole number of units in total. So, if 5/9 of the tank is currently filled, that means it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now is 5/9. That's 5 units filled. Question asks, how much more is needed to fill completely? That means how much more do I have to add to make it become full? So, does it help the drawing? Because now it's not full. Now it's not completely full. Now it's only 59 filled. How much more needed to fill completely? So, if full, that's 9 units, that's 81 liters. Now it's 5 units full. Okay, now I find 1 unit first. So 1 unit is 81 liters divided by 9. 9 times 9 is 81, so 9 liters. More to fill. Completely. That's 9 units minus the current 5 units, which is equals to 4 units. So that will be 9 liters times 4, answer will be 36 liters. Can you understand? Check your units. Yes, yes. Is it okay? It's okay, huh? Okay. The last one that I'm going to go through, 137. Question 1 for the level 3 problem. Now this one is really difficult. It gave you a hint, draw a model. Using the idea of the word problems that we understood. Okay, let's do the reading first. There are some black and white buttons in a container. 7/10 of the buttons, of all the buttons, are black. Now, here's the tricky part. There's the idea of sum and difference. The difference between the number of black and white buttons is 24. How many buttons are there in the container? Thank you, Trevin. You can borrow my pencil. and return it tomorrow. Do you need eraser? Well, how you need to learn how to ask yourself, okay? It's nice that you have Kevin to help you. Right, so in the container, they are all buttons. Some are black, don't know how many, don't know the number, but I've got the fraction. The fraction is 7/10 of the buttons. Some are white, don't know how many white, don't know the fraction of buttons. I don't have the sum of all the buttons, but I've got the difference. Difference of between black and white is 24 buttons. Here's my annotation. Now, if all the buttons were whole, there were 10 units because that's the denominator. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 units. All the buttons that's 10 units. 7 units black. So how many units white? 3. Very good. So the fraction of buttons that are white will be 3/10 because 1 whole minus 7/10 equals to 3/10. Or 10 units minus 7 units is 3 units. So 3 units is white. Now, if I transform this model into a comparison model, because I want to see the difference between the black and white buttons, if I transform the model into this way, black versus white, seven units for black, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units for black. Three units for white. Altogether, all buttons, 10 units, that's a question mark. This is black. White is 3 units. Can I put in 24 buttons now? Where's the 24 buttons? How many units is 24 buttons? How many units is 24 buttons? Really? Look again. 24 buttons is placed with what? Is it drawn with all the buttons? The difference between the number of black and white buttons Is it the sum or difference? It's written as difference here. Yes. So the difference is here. This is the difference between this or button is sum. Do you remember sum and difference? So the difference, this is 24 buttons. So I find where to slot this information here. And that you see, difference means black buttons minus white buttons. And how many units is that? How many units is that? 4. That's right. So actually, the difference meaning black minus white actually is that 24 buttons. In this case, is 7 units minus the 3 units, that's 24 buttons. So I've got 4 units is 24 buttons. 1 unit is 24 divided by 4, that's 6 buttons. The question requires me to find how many units? The question requires me to find how many units? Shalini? The question requires me to find how many units of buttons? Thank you, Singan. It's 10 units. Because all buttons. The question asks for how many buttons are there in the container? That's all the buttons, that's 10 units. And 10 unit means 6 times 10. Answer is 60 buttons in all. Is this okay? Which part do you want me to zoom in? The bottom? The model? This one? Here? Like this, is it better? Can? Now this is a level 3 question. It's worth 4 marks in the test. Do you think you can manage it? Try again. Okay, you look at the questions will be having the same ideas. Now, why is this difficult is now because it's putting in the concepts of a previous chapter, sum and difference. You just have to be confident with yourself. You have learned these terms before. 2 characters, one is a bigger identity, the other one is a smaller identity. Together they are the sum. When you find them, this is the difference. And how many units are you talking about? That's why I particularly try to encourage everyone to stick with the model and the unitary method. Then you can see the difference and the number of units better. If you're going to stick to using fractions, or like what Fadrian say, use the cancellation method, you can't solve this question. Because 24 is not the whole. If I use 710 times 24, that definitely does not make any sense. Okay? All right, so I'm done with this 137, the last question that I said I was going to go through. Okay, until level 3 question 1. So the remaining of this, if you notice, I finished most of the questions. Okay, you can try the rest of the questions on your own, okay? Or the word problems on your own. 140 is quite challenging. Would you like me to go through it with you? Okay, shall we go through 140? This one is very challenging as well. Then let this be the last question. Then you try the rest on your own. Okay? Or we can get our friends, watch our friends recording to help. Then with that, I'm done with this chapter. 140. Okay, can? Now, later on, before I leave, I would like to collect the worksheet, fresh out a set, and the work problem for the previous one. Are you okay with it? Okay, later on, when everybody else is back here in the class. Okay, shall we do this? Now, the thing about this question, it is very similar to the one that I've just gone through. 137. Very similar. Let's take a look at it. 140. Ken, found the worksheet? Yes. Yes. Oh, okay. Ken, found the question, found the paper. Okay. Peter spent some money to buy a pair of skates. In this case, it's a fraction. The fraction is 3/8 of his money to buy the pair of skates. The amount he spent was $68 less than the amount he had left. Now this one is a level 3 question. Even though it's just 3 sentences. Okay, so the amount he spent was $68 less than the amount he had left. If you notice the statements here, hang on a minute, then I heard the. Okay, so in this case, the amount he spent was $68 less than the amount he had left. So there's this more than less than, immediately it shows you there's a relationship. There is a relationship between two scenarios that's happening. One is spending money and one is left. So 2 portions of money. The question asks about how much did he spend on the skates? So if I do my annotations here, okay, right below here, who is all the money? There are 2 sets of the money there are 2 parts of the money in this whole set of amount of money. One part is spent on the skates. And then one part is left. Both we don't know the exact amount of money. But you have got the fraction for one of it. The spent part was 3/8 of all money. Okay, what is given is the spend was less than the amount he left. So which one is more? The spend was more or the left was more? The left was more. So this one is a bigger number. because he spent less than he had left. So spend is less. So spend is a smaller amount. Then it says less than, that means the difference. Difference, that means the bigger number minus the smaller number. That means the left minus the spent. That's $68. Now, because you got 3/8 of all amount of money as the clue here, what can you say about the number of units to represent the total amount of money? How many units is that? 8 units, very good. The clue is from the fraction and its denominator. 3/8 of all the money. So that would be 8 units. So how many units can be used to represent the amount that he spent? Wow. How many units to represent the amount that he spent? Based on the fraction here, if 8 units were the total amount of money, how many units is the amount that he spent? Alicia? You don't know? Look at the fraction again. 3/8 of his money he bought the skates with 3/8 of his money. If 8 units is the total amount of money, how many units to represent the amount that he spent? Thank you, Ayla. That's 3 units. It's in the textbook. You have the textbook, you take it out the textbook. Or, Afiq, it's the worksheet that comes right behind this. Afiq, it comes behind this. Remember this one? You flip over is this one. So, the difference in the amount of units to represent he spent and he left. Meaning, all the money that's total, that's 8 units. Spent, that's 3 units. What do you know about left then? How many units would that be? Three-eighths of all the money. So 8 is all the money, 8 units. 3 is the unit that is spent. How many do you think is left? How many units? If all the units is 8, all is 8.